MaXXXine was written and directed by Ty West and is the culmination of the trilogy that he began in 2022 with X and Pearl, and it brings that story to a close. This once again stars Mia Goth as Maxine Minx, who after the events of X has become a big name in the adult film industry, but is now trying to get her break in Hollywood. And as she's working towards that, a serial killer called the Night Stalker is going around LA and killing young women, and it seems like the next target might be Maxine, and so she has to deal with that as well. And I don't want to go too much more into the plot because I want to keep things as brief as possible in that respect. You guys should go check the movie out when you get the chance and see for yourself what happens. Going into this movie though, I was pretty excited because I really loved X and Pearl. I think what Ty West did was extremely interesting. Pearl, especially as a character study, in fact that one was co-written with Mia Goth herself. I thought that really, brought a lot of background to the character that we got to know as that, creepy woman in X. And there were certain things that were going on over there that I found to be incredibly fascinating. And so going into Maxine, I really liked the story and themes that were brought around from the first two movies, and was, obviously it's all about the ending. You have to bring those around in a very effective way in order to make a really solid story. And I am very pleased to report that that's exactly what happens with Maxine. This is a movie that is extremely effective as a conclusion and very satisfying, and also extremely entertaining. One of the best things about all three movies is that while they do have serious, awful horror stuff going around it, people die in incredibly gruesome ways, one thing that's really good is also that there is a sense of self-awareness to them. They're able to have fun and be entertaining experiences and have dialogue accompanying it that manages to match up to that. I think with X and Pearl, those were two movies that did a good job of that. Maxine does a great job of it as well. And all the movies also have different eras represented in the 20th century. All of those are realized nicely too. There's a certain sense to them that you really feel like you're watching movies that are from that time period. I don't think that there'll be anyone watching this movie and thinking, this was made in 2024. It really feels like it's something that was made in 1985. And that's something that I really like about it, especially when it comes to the visual sense and the costumes, the music, the dialogue, of course, I already mentioned, but it's so much a product of that time. And I really, really appreciated that. Mia Goth, once again, is excellent. I think that between these three movies, she has proven herself to be such a great actress. I think she's been doing a really good job for a long time now, but if a lot of people were not, aware of that up until this moment of time, then these three movies have been instrumental in more people getting to know what else she's capable of. With Maxine and with Pearl, there's two different performances going on, but even between X and Maxine now, the character of Maxine is very different. Things have happened between those movies which have radically changed her. And when you look at the past, especially the stories that you've learned about her upbringing and so on, all the stuff that's going on with her now, all of those things are bearing on her. And I like the way that the movie handles that. It makes for another very compelling character study. And all three movies, in that sense, form a very good narrative cohesive whole. I had a great time with that particular aspect of it as well. The supporting cast is also really great. Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Monaghan, Giancarlo Esposito, Kevin Bacon. There's a lot of people involved in this movie, some very big names, and they're all really great here, especially Kevin Bacon, who is so sleazy and such a disgusting person in this, and he plays it incredibly well. He's having a wonderful time with this movie, and more power to him. He plays a really shitty person very, very effectively. While also talking about the atmosphere of the movie, something that's really great about all three of them is how much each of them expresses love for film. There is a very strong affinity that Ty West has to the medium, and with all three movies he has conveyed that, because a lot of this movie is also taking place in a studio lot with different sets and things constructed. There's a lot of references and callbacks to things that you'll see, and the movie is well aware of that. It was just a nice way of, like, homaging the fact that, well, in the world that West has constructed, there is this thing that connects everyone, which is cinema is pretty awesome, and movies are just pretty awesome in general. But I am not talking too much about one aspect of it that I'm sure everybody wants to know about, which is the horror aspect. How gory it is, how crazy it is. It is all of those things. The movie absolutely delivers on those fronts as well. It never skimps out on that. There are some very disgusting, gory moments spread out here as well, and you'll definitely get your money's worth on that regard too. It is a slasher horror movie. The movie doesn't forget that for even a second. While I have praised a lot of the tone and structure of things with MaXXXine, however, I would say that sometimes it does get a little flimsy in the second act of the film, because there's a connecting point towards what's been established and how it's eventually coming to its conclusion. Some things I feel do get a little wobbly in those moments. I think those could have been a bit better. It also leads to some stuff that was set up in the storylines that gets resolved a little quickly. Now you might look at that and go, well, those were not much anyway. That was that was going to get resolved as is. It's like, yeah, sure, but also some stuff is set up a certain way, and then it's done, which I can see some people having some apprehensions to that. But those are some of the minor gripes that I just had with it every now and then. Otherwise, as far as the overall quality of the movie goes, I would say it's on par with the other three, which kind of also answers the question, what do I think of it in regards to the rest of the trilogy? How does it rank with them? I don't have a ranking. I would say they're all the same in terms of consistency. I think that way this makes for a really great viewing experience, and I'm looking forward to the day to watch these movies together, all three of them in a row, because I feel like it would be a really fun experience. I think what Ty West has developed is extremely fun. I think it's really cool. I love that we have a trilogy like this in the 2020s, because again, it feels like such a throwback to times that came before, and it does that effectively. There are some other things that have been, doing some stuff, especially like that, even with like the Fear Street movies on Netflix that were a couple of years ago. But I would say that this consistently, especially as it draws to a close, brings together the story in such a satisfying way, as well as its thematic nature as well as it does, that I was very happy with the overall experience and the ride that I've been on with these three movies. I'm gonna give MaXXXine a 9 out of 10. Like the other two movies, I don't know if MaXXXine is gonna work as well for everyone. I think there is a certain sense to all three of them where if you are on the same bandwidth as those movies, then it might work out. If you're not on that bandwidth, then you might feel a bit left out. It's totally fine. That does happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to you guys' thoughts. I hope you guys get to check it out soon. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.